On episode 266, we chatted with entrepreneur turned astronaut Sharon Hagel. And on this episode, we're going to hear an update about how 8 kids, thanks to Space Kids Global, are going to have a far out experience of a lifetime.
Welcome to the STEM Everyday Podcast. Each episode features educators sharing their practical ideas to put more science, technology, engineering, and math into every classroom every day. For show notes and more information, visit dailystem.com. Here's your host, Chris Woods.
Well, educators, welcome back to the STEM Everyday Podcast. On this episode, we're going to chat with Sharon Hagel. She was on episode 266 before. You can hear more about Space Kids Global, the program that she works with. She's a founder of it, and she started out as an entrepreneur, became an astronaut with Blue Origin, and now she's helping to promote STEAM and environmental education through that Space Kids Global. Head to spacekids.global to find out more. But last time we talked about a contest, Sharon, and you picked some winners for some kids that get to do really an incredible opportunity, right?
Oh, that's right, Chris. Thank you so much for having us back on again and sharing this great opportunity with these lucky space reporters, which we call our press squad.
Yeah, it's exciting because these 8 kids, now these aren't like teenagers. I mean, these are 8 to 12-year-olds that get to go all expenses paid down to Florida and really get to experience some incredible stuff, right?
That's right. 8 children that were randomly selected from across the country. And I will tell you, we had such a huge success, 1,100 entries and all 50 states represented.
It's awesome.
And I can't thank you enough and your listeners, because without your help, we would never have been this successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, glad to have helped. And I mean, you got kids from Washington, Montana, North Dakota, Indiana, Virginia, Florida, Colorado, New York. I mean, that's everywhere. And bringing all those kids down to Orlando to visit the Blue Origin Rocket Park, manufacturing and the Kennedy Space Center and get some press training. I mean, that's almost a trip of a lifetime. And a lot of these kids have never got to experience some of these things.
Yes, I was surprised and also very excited over the fact that 7 of these children have never been to Kennedy Space Center, and boy, are they in for a treat.
Yeah.
They're going to be treated like space reporters. They're going to have credentials. They're going to have to go through the same security line. They'll have opportunity to interview us, but they will have the floor open and they'll have to raise their hand to ask the question, just like in the press squad.
And yeah, I can imagine, Sharon, as those kids get to walk into, those press opportunities, hear these little 8 to 12-year-old kids raising their hands, getting to ask questions and feeling like they're real reporters. And I mean, just like it's going to be a legit opportunity, like they're real. They're going to be there asking questions.
There are many reporters, and I mean that by small. But they will have their credentials, which will have their name and their photograph on it. They'll have to check in. They'll be handled like real press reporters.
Yeah, that's incredible. I can just imagine. I mean, all those other reporters are probably gonna be like looking over at these kids going, wow, this is amazing. I mean, they might want to start interviewing the kids, I'm sure, as well as they're there. So I'm looking forward to seeing the footage and some of the things that you release when we get to that stage. And again, another reason to be following Space Kids Global on social media.
And they'll be in their attire, professional shirts with the logos on it.
Yeah.
There'll be reporters reporting on space. And that's what I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
People ask, well, why are you going back again? Well, why not?
Yeah.
But then I am excited about doing it, but I'm more excited about these kids being able to come and see it up close and personal, and then going back to their homes and become little mini celebrity reporters.
Yeah. Almost ambassadors for the aerospace
Exactly.
education industry. Awesome. Really, again, so excited. Beyond words, Sharon, just how exciting this is. And I can't wait to see how this all works out and see how it changes these kids, even just 5, 10, 15 years down the road to maybe follow up with these kids and see what happens.
Yeah, I'd really like to track them, because this is going to broaden their horizons and have such an effect on them. When Mark and I were launched, our grandson was with us, and he was 17 at the time. And the FAA has a rule that you have to be 18 if you come out with the recovery team. And so We had a scrub mission that was delayed for 2 days, and during that time, he turned 18. So he came out to the recovery with the recovery team, and none of us knew how emotional and spiritual this journey was going to be.
Yeah.
But because of that opportunity and experience, he's now a sophomore at Stanford studying aerospace engineer.
Way to go, Grandma. That's the best.
Aerospace engineering.
Yeah. That's phenomenal. Great stories. Again, just so many opportunities. When we take those opportunities, when we look around, every kid in our classroom may not get to go to, some big event, but find those events locally, find those places you can go nearby, find a museum, find whatever you can to make those kids see the amazingness of space, the amazingness of where the STEM fields can take you, and just do something. That's what it all comes down to for us as educators and as parents as well.
Well, that's the beauty of space. Space is for everyone.
Yeah.
And what we have here, we're going to need up there mechanics, farmers, doctors, you name it,
Yeah.
designers, and even space reporters.
Even space reporters. Yeah. Awesome.
Our mission is to get kids excited about living off planet and preparing them for space exploration.
Yeah.
And by doing that, showing them that there is space for everyone.
Yeah.
And showing them all the different careers. And so they will be given a behind the scenes tour, a Blue Origin rocket facility, where they'll be able to interview rocket scientists, engineers, managers, and just see how the space industry works.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of kids, if they can take that information back to their classrooms and share it with the other kids nearby, to be able to say, yeah, I went there, and it's not just, 5 astronauts sitting in a room getting ready to launch. It's hundreds and thousands of people behind the scenes helping to create this space industry and to create these opportunities for people to go. And like you said, Sharon, to someday be living off planet. What a future these kids have ahead of them.
The most interesting thing that we've learned by going into elementary schools and classrooms across the country is kids that age think that the only job in the space industry is an astronaut, and we need to change that message. And by going behind the scenes and seeing that it takes a whole village to put a launch up, it's going to give them a different perspective. Yeah. I've always said that education, opportunity, and experience will change a child's trajectory. And I can tell you from my own experience, that happened to me when I was sitting in a classroom. I was in the 6th grade in West Virginia, listening, there was no high tech back then, to a PA system of Alan Shepard being launched into space in 1961.
Yeah.
Little did I know, 61 years later, I would have the honor of being launched into space on a rocket named after him.
Yeah.
That little opportunity changed my life entirely. And now when I go out and take my dog out early in the morning, like 6 o'clock, it's dark, I look up at the sky and I see the moon, it's possible now that I might go there.
Yeah.
And I think this is what all these hands-on projects do, is give kids the possibility. We'd like to bring the possibility of space to kids everywhere. But once they get exposed to this and they get engaged, it's going to change their perspective on everything.
Yeah. And getting, these 8 kids, these 8 winners of your very first, 2024 Press Squad competition, getting them interested and taking that information back and helping those kids to share that story. And you can keep sharing that story. Now more kids are going to get interested. More kids are going to get excited. And I mean, you've done some other things already in the past. You've gone into schools. You've already reached 800,000 plus students globally. With the stuff that you're doing there, Sharon, but you're also saying, what are we going to do next? How can we find some things to do? And if there's educators listening, like, hey, I've got a great idea, because you, like you said, you want to engage those kids and get them interested and excited about those future possibilities.
Please, if anybody out there has any ideas, we're constantly looking for hands-on projects to keep these kids engaged. Like I said, we have their attention. Now we just have to keep them engaged. Yeah. And what better way to have exciting new projects?
Yeah. So educators, if you're doing some sort of really amazing thing, especially if it's in those STEM fields, STEAM fields, especially if it's related to the space industry, or thinking about, hey, how are you growing stuff on another planet? Or how would you build a habitat on Moon or Mars or things like that? If you got project ideas, share them with Sharon. Head to spacekids.global and use all the links below to do that. Also, I would highly suggest everybody, follow Space Kids Global on whatever social media you use, so that you can find out about the next opportunities, the next resources, and you've got a lot of other things that you've got going and thinking about, and you've got a lot of other things available on your website to connect educators with some of this information and inspiring as well, right, Sharon?
That's right, Chris. I'm always amazed at the power of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I use the press squad as an example because there were a couple of states that we had no entries. And it was pretty later on in the program.
Mm-hmm.
And we reached out on social media. Hey, does somebody know anybody in Iowa?
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, we're getting all these kids from Iowa that are registering. So yes, it's a powerful tool, and we appreciate everything that you guys can do.
Yeah. And you've mentioned, and you really try to highlight this, that there's 3.5 million STEM jobs need to be filled by 2025. And if we don't expose these kids and get them interested and excited in those younger ages, at 7, at 8, at 9 years of age, if we don't do that, then we're not setting them up to be interested when they get to those teen years, when they get to thinking, hey, what do I want to do as a career? Do I want to go to college to study aeronautics? Do I want to go into a CTE program to learn how to do all the types of welding and advanced manufacturing that's required for space travel and the whole space industry? Those are some big things that we need to be thinking about as educators and just as responsible citizens in our world.
We talk about elementary school kids, and I don't think we really understand that these kids that are in school today, 20 years from now, they're going to be solving the challenges of our Earth and space. And the only way to get them prepared is, like you said, get them engaged. We want to make learning fun again. And when it's fun, then you'll see a lot of difference of the way the kids react.
Yeah. I've noticed that myself as an educator, and educators listening. We know that, Sharon, when we do something that definitely engages those kids, their interest sparks. They want to keep learning. They want to learn more. In fact, they sometimes push the teacher, hey, can we keep learning? Hey, can we keep doing more on these things? So really appreciate that and all the work that you're doing. Sharon Hagel, it's been great chatting with you. We look forward to seeing all the reveals, the stories. I mean, it's really cool what you're posting now with these winners, kind of releasing almost like a video about each one, right?
Every week we'll be introducing a new child so that everyone across the country will get to know these kids. So when they do come to Kennedy Space Center to start reporting on our launch, then they'll have the opportunity to go back to their communities and report to their local news stations and get kids across the country all excited.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Yeah, that's going to be great, and it sounds like a great plan. I can't wait to see it. I hope that things like this and the things that you're doing with Space Kids Global keep continuing and keep finding new ways. Again, educators, if you got ideas or ways or projects or things, definitely reach out to Sharon. She'll be interested to hear some of those ideas, and I can't wait to see all those different things that Space Kids Global is going to do next in the future. Really appreciate the update today, Sharon Hagel. Again, go back, educators, and listen to episode 266 and hear more about kind of how this started. And all the best to you, Sharon, and for these great kids, they're going to be able to come and have a amazing first step to launch them to who knows what in the future.
Thank you, Chris. Stay tuned. There's more to come.
There it is. I'm so excited. And educators, keep on finding those ways to inspire while we are educating those kids in our classrooms each and every day for every kid